Simone, what's going on in the weather as we prepare for the next week?
Well, we got that little dose of spring going on, some spring-like temperatures to help us start the week. A lot of sunshine in your forecast tomorrow, so as cloudy as it was today, we're going to lose some of those clouds overnight as some high pressure moves in. That helps us warm up to the lower and middle 70s across the state tomorrow. Here's what we're tracking for highs across the state. Again, looking to see a lot of 70s on the board. Some neighbors could even get near 80 degrees to our south and west, but mostly sunny through the day tomorrow, and rain chances increasing over the days ahead. We'll have multiple rounds of rain between your middle part of the week and the end of the week until your Valentine's Day weekend. We'll talk about all of the details and what you need to know in that 11-day outlook.
All right, Simone, thank you. Well, we begin with a THV 11 update. The teenager accused of killing a woman outside of Park Plaza Mall last year will return to court this week. Abdel Rahman Ahmed Salam was arrested and charged with the murder of Cynthia Gregory in January of 2025. He's set to appear before a judge on Thursday for a fitness hearing. It comes several months after Salam's attorney argued he couldn't be held criminally responsible due to a mental disease. Be sure to stay with THV 11 and THV11.com for the very latest. The search for the mother of Today co-host Savannah Guthrie continues tonight as their family does whatever they can to bring her home safe. Today marks 1 week since 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie was reported missing. On Saturday, Savannah and her siblings took to social media to communicate with those responsible for taking their mother in response to an apparent message from the captors. The FBI is now assessing the authenticity of apparent ransom notes sent to multiple media outlets last week. CBS News has also learned law enforcement is tracking down vehicles captured on surveillance cameras the night Nancy disappeared, including at a gas station near her home in Arizona. The FBI is offering a $50,000 reward for information that leads to Nancy's return or to the arrest of those responsible for her abduction. Well, now to new developments on ongoing immigration issues in the northern U.S. The top lawyer for ICE in Minnesota is no longer with the agency. A Department of Homeland Security spokesperson confirmed that the chief counsel, that was Jim Stoley, well, he retired this week after 31 years of service. They said his retirement was already scheduled, but did not provide any other details. The development comes the same week an ICE attorney was removed after telling a district judge that the Trump administration was, quote, overwhelmed with immigration cases. Here at home, hundreds of students from several Central Arkansas schools spent the last week holding protests and walkouts. It was their way of showing their opposition to the Trump administration's immigration crackdown. East Stem, Central, Parkview, Bryant, Fayetteville, and several others saw students leave campus. These demonstrations come less than a year after Arkansas's Access Act took effect, banning schools from excusing absences for political causes. You can learn more about those events and how the schools responded right now on our website. That's THV11.com. Well, those demonstrations come in the wake of the shooting deaths of Minneapolis residents Alex Preddy and Renee Good. Their deaths, both at the hands of ICE agents, sparked heated protests that continue weeks later. Yesterday marked 2 weeks since Preddy was shot and killed. Tonight, we're hearing from a journalist at our sister station in Minneapolis who was one of the first on the scene. Take a look.
So I guess let's just start from the beginning of what happened that day.
On January 24th, the day Alex Preddy was shot and killed, our colleague Jana Shortall was one of the first journalists on scene.
People move in the line. The tape is there to separate press or public from the actual scene of what's going on. I was there doing a job, and had my press credentials on.
A Star Tribune photojournalist happened to capture this interaction with Jana and federal agents.
I stopped filming at some point to warm my hands up, and the agents started walking towards the group of people. And I'm backing up, and they're starting to yell, move, back up, and I'm like, I don't know where to go, what's happening? And then I get shoved by the agent. And all I remember at that point was saying, do not push me. I am press. Stop pushing me. And then I got pushed again or held back again. And about that point, I felt something really cold in my left eye underneath my glasses. And then I just went down. Burning. Hurt. Now 2 weeks, able to think about it and then see the images that were taken by another photographer that was there that I didn't know at the time was there, put together a very brief snapshot of a very small thing that happened to me that also shouldn't happen to a member of the press. And as a member of the press, it is my job to get the facts out.
Well, THV 11 is your election central, and we're now less than a month away from the primaries in several high-profile special elections. Just this week, we got the chance to hear from the two candidates in the race for State Senate District 26. Brad Simon won the Republican primary runoff last week. He is a small business owner from Paris who entered the race last fall after switching from a campaign for a state house. Now he hopes to replace late Senator Gary Stubblefield, whom he called a champion for rural Arkansas and conservative values in the River Valley. He is opposed to the Sanders administration's plans to build a new prison in his district, but says he's ready to work with colleagues in Little Rock.
We need a state senator that's going to be able to get something done, to be able to get things done. And that's going to require working with other legislators. And I believe that I'm the candidate to do that.
Well, Simon finished second in the special primary, but won support of 65% of the voters in the runoff. He now faces off against independent candidate Adam Watson.
I'm committed to being honest up front with them and transparent in my decision making. And I want that process to include the community. So if voters of District 26 want to have a greater level of participation in their government, I think I'm a really good choice for them.
Watson leads the grassroots organization Gravel and Grit that started as a way to fight the prison plan. That special election will take place on March 3rd, coinciding with the midterm primary that day. Meanwhile, a local politician is trying to win back the right to run for office. Rivals managed to get Christina Gully removed from the Pulaski County Quorum Court back in 2023 after finding convictions for writing hot checks years before. Those convictions get you disqualified in Arkansas, but recent rulings may change that. THV 11's Catherine Rowley talked with Gully this week to hear what she's arguing now.
An injustice has occurred. Damage was done.
Another complaint filed against former Pulaski County Justice of the Peace Christina Gully is seeking to keep her ineligible from running and holding office.
This is a political attack, and my thing is the voters in District 10, and I would imagine any district, is not concerned about petty offenses, a petty matter. Real issues, real voters who are serious, community focused, people who true leaders, they are focused on real issues. And this is really sad. It's a very vindictive act.
In 2023, Gully was removed from the Quorum Court after two alleged hot check convictions were discovered and a judge ruled her ineligible. But Gully says that's not the case.
You don't have your facts in order. I am qualified. Yes, there is an order that says I was ineligible in 2022. However, the judge didn't know that those was bond forfeitures. They didn't catch that. You know what I'm saying? People make mistakes, and it's just time out for it.
Those bond forfeitures are important because last month a different judge let another candidate stay in her race. Missy Warlaw argued that paying her hot check penalty, a bond forfeiture, didn't count as a conviction, so she's still eligible to run for a House seat in Southeast Arkansas. That gives Gully some hope.
But this is not on, there's nothing on my record, and it's a closed matter. It's a closed matter, and plus my record is sealed. And even before that, there was no conviction. All these things that I had to do, it was never on my record. And it's just unfortunate that damage was done, but I am eligible to run for office.
Well, for now, the judge in her case maintains she's not eligible to run, but Gully did tell us she's ready to take the case to the Arkansas Supreme Court, and she says she's not planning on suspending her campaign.